art class, so I thought I can't cuss on YouTube, or I'm not going to, but I'd like to. Just had a bunch of gold nuggets, just said a bunch of stuff, and then I looked at the camera, and apparently I had just taken a picture and not a video. Some little tick at this point, but this is what I have. It's my fault, but so let me just talk over it real quick. Trying to fill in some of the background. I filled in the background with ultramarine blue and if you remember the palette that I had like earlier, it was like this color right here is just ultramarine and cad yellow. My darkest kind of green that I was mixing with those other greens, and was finding some of this area. I found some of the area of the pathway, and the pathway was done with a color I mixed, and then the purples that I had earlier on, the pathway I mixed, and it was ultramarine blue, a little bit of, just a little bit of alizarin, a little bit of brown, a little bit of Naples yellow to tone it all down and kind of made it grayish, purplish. But it's more about, don't think it so much about colors per se. Think about it more in terms of value. And if it's too bright, it's better to be too bright, like start out too bright. And it's great to start out too bright, and then that way you can dull it down. Looking in the image, I can definitely tell you like this part's probably on a little bit, but this part's a lot lighter, and I can lighten it up. It's easier to lighten up than darken down, because if you have a light color and you do something darker over it, it'll end up being sort of chalky, and you have to keep going over it, or just like lay it down and be precise with what you do. What else did I do? I tackled this with my darks. I even hinted at it, like use burnt sienna to darken, like just add some vibe to that area. And I was talking about there, even in the palm trees, like added the darks, but you don't want to add too much dark to where you can't see what you just did. So although our image right now looks so much in shadow, right? A silhouette. We don't want silhouettes. Silhouettes suck. We want something with some sort of form, right? So the easiest way to do that is to give yourself a decent base, and then add your darks in your dark, like rigid areas, and then come back on top of that, and then all of a sudden your palm tree will be formed. Done it for years. That's how you do it, or that's how I do it. It hadn't hurt me. Everybody probably has their own way to tackle these things, and that's fine. I colored this in dark, that triangle shape right there. There is some darkness, maybe in a palm tree that's right there. Might not be quite as dark as what I have it, but there'll be some lighter colors coming over, so I imagine it'll blend itself out. There is a little bit more of a darker area in this area that I see. Can throw that in, it's all right. It's a little bit darker area against this wall to edge it out. And you can just kind of keep going. You can, like, I can mix blue a little more, like have a bluer more feel to like that sort of area. Just because you have a flats brush doesn't mean you have to paint flat. Like that, you have edges of this brush. Use that whole brush. It will make a lot of cool different shapes for you along the way. some dark things on the edge if you wanted to tackle those. Tackle them. Like, I'm just throwing in some of the darks before I throw in more of the middle. Like, I have like this mid-range base, then I'll throw a mid-range base on top of that, then highlights, and then I'll work them all back in together and try to make them cohesive. So let's even talk about the car now. Kind of still ticked about not recording. I felt, God, I was talking too. I had a bunch of good little gold nuggets. I thought I was proud of myself. Sometimes I was just taking the thought, like sometimes it feels better if you can make an object. This car is not really part of this scene. It's part of the scene because it adds some darkness down here where we can kind of travel up here and we have light, you know, our light source kind of goes like that, our focal point, and then everything else is just kind of leading us back into the space. If you can make a car with as less strokes as possible, or if you can make an object and it seem feasible with as less strokes as possible, that's what you want to do. That's going to give you the most bang for your buck. That's going to make you, it's going to make the whole thing worthwhile to you, to be able to see how many strokes it actually takes you to make it. I mean, this whole thing area right there is dark. That doesn't even count. But I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strokes maybe in that. I don't know. 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. And then let's go to a different color. I mean, that's probably a lot of strokes for some people. Just get a bluer with white. That seems pretty good. I can mix that color that I just mixed. It was just blue and white. It just didn't have as much. I know this is a little bit bluer, but I can go back in with one of those purple colors that I have out already. And I can tap it. Tap that color, and then it makes it